Anthony, for what happened to his son. But let that have been a black.
There's a lot of people speaking about it. Start with the Carmelo Anthony case.
Yes, sir.
It feels bigger than a courtroom. As a young is convicted and there's a white young man that's dead. The family is grieving. The internet parents are looking at this, wondering how do we protect our sons. Did you have a chance to look at the case, and what do you feel about? We'll get to the sentencing. Let's go with the verdict.
We'll get to the
sentencing.
The sentencing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. First of all, I want to say this. Caucasian nation, the good white folks of America, are so disingenuous. And the reason I say Caucasian nation is so disingenuous, Loon, is because when black people receive an unfair trial, we are supposed to respect the verdict. The white people feel that they haven't received a fair trial. They don't have to respect the verdict. The other thing that makes Caucasian nation so disingenuous, Loon, is they always like to treat every black case in its own special vacuum. In other words, when we talk about Carmelo Anthony, we can't talk about the man who took Trayvon Martin's life.
George Zimmerman.
George Zimmerman. You can't put it in context.
Can't mix it.
We can't talk about Rick Child, who took Cyrus Carmack Belton's life. We can't talk about Kyle Rittenhouse getting off, Rick Child getting off. Daniel Penny choked a man out in a New York subway and got off on standing his ground, and the man never touched him. The reason white society, Caucasian nation, doesn't like black people to discuss our legal lynchings in context, because if you put it in context, Loon, you cannot come to any other decision that there are two standards of justice in this country. One black, one white, and it's been that way for 407 years. Now, with that being said,
and people want to turn blinders on. There is no racism here in America. There is no racism here in America. It's like, why? And this generation is worse. Why do we have to talk about all that black stuff? Because it's instilled in us internally. Just because you don't see it. And I get it. Some of us are not educated enough or did not receive the education that this shit is real. That being educated about our history. What up, though? Being educated about our history is real. But nobody wants to take, not too many people want to take that seriously, especially in this generation. Our generation, we had no other choice. Gen Z, they had no choice. Or Gen X, rather. Gen X, they had no choice. Gen X is where I'm. You know what I'm saying? But like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, subscribe to the channel.
We have to understand that to be black in America is a crime in and of itself. In fact, the original crime of America is to be black.
The original crime.
The original crime. The original
first crime.
The first crime was to be black. Because remember, Loon, we were never supposed to be citizens. We were never supposed to be free. We were never supposed to be here after slavery ended. So every time a white person sees you, your existence itself is a crime against white humanity. Now, with the Carmelo Anthony situation, we also see clearly that black people have no legal right to stand your ground, even in a state where standing your ground is legal.
That's crazy to me. And so for me,
And I said that was the first person that said that. I was the first person who said that there is no justice for black people in America, especially in Texas. You cannot. Let me reiterate. What I said was, you cannot protect yourself. You cannot protect you. Yeah, you cannot protect yourself. You cannot defend yourself in the state of Texas. Therefore, if you can't defend yourself in the state of Texas, what makes you think you can defend yourself anywhere? You commit one crime against a black person, okay, cool. You commit one crime against a white boy, all hell breaking loose. Oh, put him underneath the jail. Just put him underneath the jail. That's what it is. And people don't want to face that reality. By the way, I'm streaming on both streams. I'm streaming on IG, YouTube, and I am also, I think it's called, not TikTok, but what is this shit? That doesn't even matter. Oh yeah, Twitch. So I'm streaming on both. So, hey Bob, how you doing?
Me, that affects my understanding, because I'm having trouble comprehending how.
Hello everyone.
Okay, I'm sitting down, he's standing up. Before we get into the details of the case, though, do you think he got a fair trial, Carmelo Anthony?
He could not get a fair trial.
It was impossible.
It was impossible. He's in Collin County, Texas. Black people are 10%. If that, how is he going to get a fair trial? Loon, if the trial was going to even attempt to be fair, why would there be no black jurors? For the trial to even, the Constitution says you're supposed to be tried by a jury of who? Your peers. They had a jury of all whites. Every man was Caucasian. 3 Asians, 1 Arab. Now, I want to say this to Black America, Loon. Multiculturalism died with Carmelo Anthony's conviction. Multiculturalism died with Carmelo Anthony's conviction. And the reason I say multiculturalism died with Carmelo Anthony's conviction is because if non-white people of color gave a damn about us, Carmelo wouldn't be in jail. Asians don't care about you. Arabs don't care about you. Latinos don't care about you. If they did, Loon, why is there no difference in the outcomes when they are asked to weigh in on the guilt or innocence of African people? All non-blacks in America are white as far as consciousness and opinion goes.
But I think it's always been a one-way street. I think black people has been so given with their love and understanding and their invites, and we receive very little in return for that.
And why do we still get it?
I don't know. I think we think it's a part of the barter system. I'm going to
tell you why we still get it. Because we don't give it to each other.
That's a fact.
If black love and compassion and forgiveness is universal, why we don't have none for each other?
Right.
It ain't universal, Loon. Compassion and love for your non-black enemies is not a function of your spirituality. It's a function of your lack of self-respect. The reason we forgive white people as soon as they unalive us is because we deeply desire validation and acceptance by white folks. If you notice, Daddy Metcalf never forgave Carmelo Anthony for what happened to his son.
Nope.
But let that have been a black mother or a black father. They would have forgave them the minute they got the phone call. We don't teach people to respect black life because we forgive them as soon as they take black life. You ain't never seen no white person forgive no black person. Even in a justifiable homicide, which is what Carmelo's situation was, they ain't never forgiven. Only black people do that. It has nothing to do with Jesus, Muhammad, or spirituality. It's about your need for white validation.
Do you think that the 35 years felt like justice, though?
It should have never came to that, first of all. It should have never came to that, first of all.
So you think he should have got off innocent of the charges that was brought on Carmelo Anthony?
Let's go back, because you're putting the cart But for the horse, let's go back to the indictment from the grand jury. The grand jury decided Carmelo would be charged with murder. Who's on the grand jury, Loon? You don't know.
Right.
It's a secret. I want you to see how white supremacy operates behind the scenes.
You said it's extremely choppy. Can you see it now? No.
You can't challenge the grand jury, Loon, because you don't even know who they are.
Right.
So the people who decided this 17-year-old would be charged with murder are complete secrets. And you and I both know they all white. Are you with me? So first, deal with the grand jury. Him being charged with murder was a crime in and of itself.
So what do you say
Hold on.
about the
Let me
event?
give you one more. You're moving too fast.
Go ahead.
Hold on. In Texas, if you're 17, you're automatically tried as an adult. Grand jury had no control over that. Are you with me?
Yes.
He was 17.
And they really wanted to try him as an adult. And he was going to get life in prison. Hell, they'll charge any black and Southern, and put them underneath the jail. They'll charge any black kid that. Any black kid.
He's automatically tried as an adult, but he doesn't automatically have to be indicted with murder. That could have been aggravated, right? Manslaughter.
Right.
There's a whole list of crimes they could have went with.
So you're saying he should have been charged, just not with the first degree murder or whatever? Was it first degree?
He didn't have to be charged at all.
So
this could have been self-defense.
A white young boy body drops, and you think he should not have been charged?
The reason you labeled it a white boy is you're putting it within the context of the racism of American society. Let me flip it around for you, Loon. If two 210-pound football players, black football players, walk up to a 135-pound black boy, grab him by the hoodie, put him in a headlock, try to jump him and stomp him out, and that white boy unintentionally stabs him, or he falls onto the white boy's knife, which is what we believe happened. Okay? Austin fell onto Carmelo's knife trying to attack him.
Yeah, it's a lot of upset people. A lot of coons out there too. A lot of upset people, thinking they're saying that this trial was messed up from the very beginning. It was messed up from the very beginning. But judges don't care because he's gonna retire. He's gonna retire and he wants to sell his book and blah 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 blah. They don't care about black life in Texas. They just don't. But that doesn't excuse it. It excuses him because of self-defense. I don't know what the hell is that. It excuses him because of self-defense. Now you say if they side with Carmelo, they pay the incinerator that sold them not got a G. Okay. You always come in here with that Jesus stuff. Not that I don't appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Who's racist? Who's racist? What are you talking about? Now, how race came into the fold? Jeff Metcalf brought racism into the fold. Now, this is a racist state. This is a racist country. Duh. I mean, I'm not going to deny it. You're not going to deny it either. You look like a predator. FAFO. See, I expect goofies. I expect goofies to come in the chat and want to. But my question is why? Why harass people? Why harass people? If you think that Carmelo is guilty, just say he's guilty and then just scroll on by. That's all you have to do. Just scroll on by. So, with that being said, what was that? Hey, Howie. Let me stop and share. This thing is choppy as shit. All right, Tanya. I know you want to bless us, which I know you want to bless us. I know you want to bless. She blesses us every single day. God damn, she blesses us every single fucking day. let me bring you up, my dear. Let me bring you up, and go ahead and bless us with another sermon. But he is going to have an appeal, and his new lawyer is Donnie something. I don't know. But Carmelo has a new attorney now. So and I don't know when the appeal is going to be. Hopefully it'll be soon. Hopefully it will be very, very soon. No, not Donnie Wahlberg. You funny. He said Donnie Wahlberg. Is Mark Wahlberg an attorney? There's too many trolls in this month. Appeal denied in less than 90 days. I doubt that. That just shows me right there that you can give a shit about black people. You can give a shit less.
What is this? What you say? We just too many different recollections of what happened. Okay, it's just too many. This was a traumatizing event, but the brother who was there don't seem to know what happened. That doesn't make any sense. It says Hunter Metcalf described his twin brother Austin's final moments as he died in his arms. He said, "I put my hand on there. I grabbed his hand and looked in his eyes. I just saw his soul leave, and it took mine too." Hunter Metcalf told Fox News. Austin's family believes the fight started in the stands over a seating issue. They started over a seating issue. So Carmelo was a lunatic. He just jumped out of nowhere and just started and just went crazy. Mm-hmm. And what was the other story that we heard? I mean, it's been so many. But one thing about, a lot of these things, especially when you do interviews, is you can tell your lie, but when you get on TV and you tell these lies, we still have the video of you telling that lie. Now I am really, unfortunately, somebody had to lose their life, but you have the wrong person in custody, because I don't believe that they're telling the whole story. Now I want y'all to.
No, it's not about that. You can't prove within reason why Carmelo Anthony is a killer. You can't prove that. Prove it to me within reason, and then I'll say he's a killer. but you're not gonna change my mind. You're not gonna change my mind. You're not gonna change my thoughts. You're not gonna change anything. Okay, I said the boy is innocent. He's innocent. He was not given a fair trial. He wasn't even given a fair chance, especially in that county. So I could care less what you say.
Pay attention. I want to make this bigger because I want y'all to be able to see the full picture, and I want you guys to hear what he's saying. Listen to what he's saying, okay? Because in this particular interview, which was I think it was 24 hours later, this kid could not remember what happened 24 hours later, okay? He couldn't remember it.
I don't know what's going on.
In this particular interview, he talks about being there. In the next interview, he talks about being there. But even the next day, he changed some stuff. Well, I'm going to let y'all hear for yourself, because if you recall, in the hearing in court, they said that Austin wasn't there. I'm sorry. They said Hunter wasn't there. Hunter had already testified in multiple interviews that he was there. Do y'all understand? This is why we don't believe what the hell that they're telling us. This is why they put an innocent kid in jail to cover up what these kids did. For one,
and come to find out that Austin has a criminal record. Austin and Hunter have a criminal record for bullying people. Interesting.
I was told, I didn't look it up, but y'all can look it up. Y'all be looking shit up too. That let's say we lived in Texas. We're just going to say Texas because this is where they live. Let's say we set out to commit a crime in Texas. As we go to commit our crime, somebody loses their life. I was told that all of those people are liable. Why these kids wasn't charged? But let's listen to what Hunter had to say, his lies.
His name now. This kid is sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Also grabbed his backpack. This kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and I'm not going to talk about the rest. So just that's.
This boy is lying his ass off. Listen, I'm telling you, he's lying. Let me tell you something. I grew up with my cousin, and she was like my sister. There would be no way that she was going to stab my cousin, okay, and not have to fight me. What happened looks like they both started it. But let's listen to what he says, because I believe in this particular interview, he's actually going to say, well, he's going to implicate himself. Let's listen to it.
This is what I saw, and I try to help him. But at tent at track, we asked him to move. He started getting.
You hear what he said? He said at track, we asked him to move. But during testimony, they said Hunter was not there. But again, when you do interviews, you should go back maybe and watch the interviews that you did, because who the hell is we? We asked him to move. Him and his brother approached this kid.
Aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Also grabbed his backpack. This kid.
Didn't he say Austin grabbed his backpack? I missed that one. Austin grabbed his backpack. In the video that I did yesterday, I said, who had the knife? Who had the knife first? Because listen, if you pull something on me and I get it, you done, okay? Who had the knife first? They keep saying, why would Carmelo have a knife? Well, it wasn't a knife, it was a tool. But they're also saying that particular tool, and actually, guys, I'm a little bit familiar with that.
Don't say the word tool, because a lot of people get upset when you say tool. A lot of people get upset. It's not a multi-purpose tool, it's a knife. Any weapon is a murdering weapon, and it'll stab people and die, and it'll stab people and it'll stab people. but you can bring a gun to a supermarket. Wow. How the goalpost moves. I am a 7-year-old African American female, and I talk to young African American men all the time, and I tell them the descendants of slave owners are still here and permanently and not in your. I believe that 1,000%. But everything changes. Just because things change doesn't mean the scenario doesn't change. It stays the same. The world may change, but the scenario always remains the same.
Because I believe I had one of those before. That particular is like a multi-tool. You can use it for multiple things. So why is Austin grabbing his book bag? Is that the time to grab your book bag and you kind of getting into a confrontation with somebody? Did Austin grab the book bag to go in there to get that thing? Because why is Austin grabbing his book bag? Did he have it? Because if y'all recall, they said Carmelo was cut, like I think they said his finger or something.
Wait a second. Now that I think about it, why did Austin grab his book bag? Or Hunter? Is it Austin or I don't know, it doesn't matter. One of the motherfuckers grabbed the book bag. So the question is now, how, and I can't wait to the appeal. How did he get his own book bag? He quoting Tupac. I don't see no changes. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, is life worth living? Is life worth living? Should I blast myself? I'm tired, even poor, even worse. I'm black. My stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch.
What was wrong with his hand? Something happened to his hand. So who had it first?
I tried to look around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and I'm not going to talk about the rest. So.
Then he acts like he doesn't know. You don't.
Just that's what I saw.
Like, share, and subscribe.
I tried it.
Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. If you like the video, go ahead and support the channel. Trying to get some gas money, cause boy, it's rough. It's rough out there. So if you can support it with if you can support it dollars, support it with a heart, or support it with membership. I can tell and I can look at his face that he's lying. I can tell or look in his face that he is lying. Because again, now that she has said it, and I can't believe that I didn't even think of this. Why did he grab the bag in the first place? That's violation number one. Right? It's bad enough that you put his hands on him, but you put your hands on my property. And that's what teenagers do. That's what teenagers get into. They get into all this type of scruffle, and then shit just happens. All right? He finished his meat that day. Hold on. He finished his meat that day. He won his meat. Then he went over, and I guess this system sucks. And then he went over, and I guess they were putting up a tent. They weren't even supposed to be there that day. So they ended up putting up their coach's tent, blah, 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 blah. And if that was the case, why didn't they leave? Why didn't they fucking leave? Austin grabbed the bat to get his weapon out to hurt an African American kid, and the tables got turned. Possibly. 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 Well, I guess it is George Floyd's fault that he is dead. Boy, these people ain't got no soul. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Boy, it's FAFO. It's FAFO all day, bro. These people ain't got no what's the word? These people ain't got no impulse control. These people ain't got no home training. Just like the other guy from the UFC. Oh, Michelle is a man. What the fuck does that have to do with your fight? Oh, God.
I tried to help him, but
It was just senseless.
it was really senseless. Really,
He's lying.
You're
This
right.
dude is lying. This is why he didn't take the stand.
Right.
Your brother dies and you don't take the
Freak.
stand. You don't owe him that. He did not take the stand in his own brother's hearing. I mean, trial. Why? I'll tell you why. If I knew that I had did something that I wasn't supposed to do, and perhaps was responsible or partially responsible for someone not being here, why am I going to take the stand? That wouldn't make any sense.
I don't know why a person would do that to someone, just over that little argument. It's just crazy in this world nowadays how people just up and do that. Like, that man has a family, that man has people that care about them all the time. And
You know, people always say that because it's a crutch that you hold on to for so long. When we get the shit kicked, beaten, kicked, stabbed, shot, castrated, hung, I mean, you name it, Jim Crow, fucking Willie Lynch, you can name it all, right? But then years later, just because you have Donald Trump in office, you feel the need to lash out. It's like, we're all human, and I don't want to hear that bullshit. Because if you were so human and this was so America, how come each and every time shit like this happens, it's always the black man's fault? Or when a black man has a hoodie on and you see him, you clench onto your purse, or you just give him the side eye or some shit like that. It could be anything. Is my ranting? It could be any and everything, and everything is just abnormal. But it wasn't abnormal to you when Trayvon Martin got shot. It wasn't abnormal. It wasn't abnormal to you when George Floyd got his neck broken because the man put his knee on the man's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Everything's just normal, right? Wow. That's a first. That is a first. How did we make it that way? That is a fucking first. That is a first. I might have to put the link in the chat for you to come up and explain how we black people made it that. How do we make it that way? That's crazy. And this dumbass, How the fuck does Donald Trump have to do with all this? Ain't Donald Trump prejudiced? If you don't think Donald Trump is prejudiced, who am I thinking about? You're probably some white chick. So it doesn't matter.
He did everything for our family too. He was a strong man. He was strong kid.
Lace and me, my brother.
Now listen to this.
Barb,
I want y'all to listen to this. This is a second interview that he did. Listen to what he says in this second interview.
A couple kids were walking back from the field house of the middle school because we attended that middle school when we went to middle school. And we were
now he gets into a couple
you
of.
Say that to every black man.
I'm just going to y'all because this guy is lying. I mean, it's clearly that he is lying. Okay.
All the coaches and catching up with them. And then we're walking back to our stand. We put our tent up so all the bleachers were right there. We're not wet from all the rain. We come back.
It's like I said yesterday. We'll take accountability if you take accountability and say that you did us wrong first. If you say you did us wrong first, then I will definitely take accountability. I will definitely take accountability and I will say the words, I'm sorry. But until you can admit that you're prejudiced and your ancestors had everything to do with what's going on in the world today, black people, then I will take accountability. When you can say we are responsible for Jim Crow, when you can say that we're responsible for Willie Lynch, when you can say that we were responsible for the hoses and the fire and the dogs and the fire hoses being attacked on us, and missing persons and cutting babies out of our black women, when you can fucking say that shit, then I'll come to you and I will say my bad. I will definitely say that. But until then, please shut the fuck up.
Back, we sit down, and this kid says something behind me. I've never met this kid in a long time. I've never knew who he was.
What this
said something just inappropriate. And
what up, Bart?
So this is the thing. If Carmelo was the kind of troublemaking ass kid, like he's trying to portray that he is, where's the record? Where is the long record of having trouble with people because he done been in trouble? He goes, to people and, he's in back of people just keeping up stuff for no reason. Where is the proof? Because, the people are saying that y'all are bullies, okay? But all of a sudden, he came over to our tent and he was behind us and he was causing trouble and he was saying, this is a lie. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't even go together. I believe everything we know of Carmelo, and we don't even know him, that he is unproblematic. The boy says yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. It ain't too many damn kids in the world that say that. This boy.
Yeah, he's a good kid, and you want to send a good kid to prison. I wish I could find those clips of him actually being like a help to other kids his age. There are actually clips of him actually being like a role model, a citizen, or something. But motherfuckers like y'all in the chat don't care about that shit.
Boy is lying through his teeth. And I'm gonna tell y'all this. One of the huge problems with this particular case is they know that Carmelo didn't do anything, but they want to exact their revenge on a black boy. That's what it's all about.
That's what it all is. That's what it is. That's what it is. So I'm gonna skip.
A couple kids were walking back from the field house of the middle school.
I don't know what I was thinking, because I remember you said that you had until 4:00, right? So I said, I'm going to send it to him to start at 2, so that gives him more than enough time. But I apologize. I was thinking 2 for you is 3 for me, but I'm so sorry. I really apologize.
It's okay. It's okay.
But I appreciate you for coming on. My goal is to, basically talk about everything that has happened. We know that, Carmelo is now serving a 35-year prison sentence.
Bullshit.
But what has started to come out is that everybody is saying, wait a minute, the video that they showed in court is not the full video. So now a lot of people are saying the same thing. And I know, because I actually sent you, I think I sent you a screenshot of what I received back from the district. We now know that nobody now can see this footage, which generally, after the case has concluded, generally they will just send it out. But now we know no one can actually see the video. So one of the reasons that I wanted you to come on is because you have saw the video. I know you have saw the video because you not only have saw the video, you have provided me your email from the school district that states you saw the video. You also provided me with another list of everybody that saw the video, and your name says you saw the video. So I know that you actually saw the video. So I want you to start by telling me, when did you see the video? Like, and I would assume it was in last year, right?
It was last year in June. I saw it in June of last year.
Okay. Can you explain what that process was like?
Yes, you had to put in what they call a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Act, or request for information, or PIR, public information request. And once you put that in on their website, they would actually acknowledge that you put it in, and you would get contacted by one of their administrative people to set up a date and time for you to come. And they'll give you some available dates, and you'll choose from those dates or say, I can't, what are the dates you have? And once that process is done, you actually set a date. They confirm that date is set. You go in, and once you get there, it's at the administration building, the Frisco ISD administration building in Frisco, Texas. And once you get there, you have to, they have a little camera system outside, so you have to kind of acknowledge that you're there. They let you in the building, you give you your driver's license, and they scan it into the system. And once they scan it into the system, they create you an ID badge with your driver's license picture on it, and it says your name and has that you're a visitor. Once that's the case, then what they'll do is they'll have somebody come get you, and they have to take you up to the floor where they have the viewing at. And so it's in a conference room. At the time that I was seeing it, only one person was going at a time. Later on, they had 2 or 3 or 4 people going at a time as they start getting more requests. But once you've seen the video and you've viewed it, they actually send you confirmation to let you know, because by law, they have to let you know that your PIR or your FOIA request has been closed. And so they send you an email that states, hey, this serves as a receipt that you have seen the requested video, and thank you for your time, and they go on about their business. So there is a process, and anyone that's seen that video outside of the snippets that they showed in court to the people in the court, and the snippet of a video that they showed the actual jury, you have to go see it at Frisco ISD, because it's property of Frisco ISD. It didn't belong to the DA's office. It doesn't belong to the Frisco PD. It doesn't belong to the parents. It belongs to the general public through Frisco PD, Frisco ISD. And so that's one misstep or information piece that people put out there, that this video would be readily available elsewhere. Normally, since it is a school district, you could just actually put in a request, like I did in the beginning, to actually get a copy of the video, and they send it to you. But because this was a moment that they knew that they were going to do what they did, they actually said no at first to people, that they were not going to show the video, but then they realized they had to show it. And so that's when they allow people to come in and see it, because it works as the same, that you can show it to you or release it to you. But ultimately, once the case is over, you have to release the footage, because this is public information. And so
if you believe in that, you believe in the tooth fairy. Racism will never leave. Racism will never leave, because you will never leave us alone. That's part of it. That is part of it. If you think racism doesn't exist here in America or anywhere else, let's just say, for example, China. If you don't think racism doesn't exist in China, I question your sanity. I do question your insanity. If if you don't think what happened today with the what's the guy's name, the UFC guy that called Michelle Obama a man, if you don't think that's racism, then something is really wrong with you. You have no soul, have no spirit, nothing. White supremacy has no soul, has no spirit. So, I mean, it is what it is. Call it whatever you want.
That's kind of where we are now, is that the information should have been released. I know myself and others that had requests in, we just did follow-up emails to remind them that we had it. But I also put in fresh requests too for not only that video, but also other video. And I'll explain that probably later on in a couple of months or something once we get some litigation done. But once we did that and start getting putting the request in for the transcripts and all those different things that you do, the lady was actually getting me copies of the court case when I was there that morning after he was sentenced and everything. Then all of a sudden I seen a lady run from the back and she stopped her because that's when they noticed that everybody was requesting and they wanted to seal everything. So the rule of thumb is right after these cases, you want to get the information quick, because most of the time when they're hiding something, it takes them a few hours to get their mind right to start sealing stuff. Yep. And so I almost got a copy of stuff before they did it, but I'm on the list to get it. The transcripts was not ready yet. We'll see if they release those. We already really have transcripts because most of the news media did a good job of doing a minute by minute moment of what was said. But as far as the video, they're relying off of the actual ruling that our Attorney General in Texas, Ken Paxton, gave them last year. It's not a new ruling, so I want to let people know that, and let's be clear. It's not a new ruling. Ken Paxton didn't say, hey, let's just stop it. He didn't do that. They're relying, and Frisco ISD is relying off of his ruling from last year. And if anybody has that letter, you can read it. It'll tell you the date, and it says 2025. And so we have to just basically appeal it to Ken Paxton, the Attorney General, let him make a ruling, and based on his ruling, then we could sue, or he'll make them give us the video out, because they really don't have no standing. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I apologize. I did not introduce you because I didn't know if you wanted people to know your name. But now that I see it's out there, his name is Dwayne, for the people that's asking me. Dwayne was the guy that went viral. I didn't know who he was. I just was on social media and I saw this video, and you know, he's been out there talking about seeing this video. And what I was saying, guys, is he showed proof. A lot of people are saying that they saw the video. I don't know if they've shown proof, but he's actually shown proof. And some people that said they saw the video, their name is not even on that list. Some of their names is on there, but it says that they requested it, but it said, did they see it? And it says no. So some of these people that's saying that they saw the video, they may have requested to see it, but they never actually saw it. That's what I. So why do you think, Dwayne? Because
why do y'all like to hide stuff? This is good. Well, I don't know how that formed it. I need more information as far as the evidence and everything else, from the videotape to the actual weapon that got used, the book bag that's in question, the book bag that was in question. All that was locked up in it, but this trial was so freaking quick. It wasn't even a trial. It wasn't even a trial at all.
You kind of spoke on, originally you can go see the video, right? But now, why do you think all of a sudden they're saying you can't see the video? They have already shown this video to people.
You might as
Well,
bring it out to the public.
they were showing it up until I want to say, was that June or July? It was toward that moment they were still showing it. We had a young lady with her group on TikTok, led by some of the people on the Metcalf side, decided they were going to go in and film the video, and they got caught. And when they got caught, it gave Frisco ISD and the DA cause to actually stop the viewing of the video. And what they stated in that ruling, which I actually have a copy of that too, they said that because of the illegal activity of trying to film the video, that they were going to stop everyone from having access to view it. Now, in that light, it is not in the state of Texas illegal for someone to film a video in a public place when they have been invited in to see it. So that means that every one of us that went to go see it, we could have filmed it. And we just didn't really pay attention that we could have, but we could have. They had the right to refuse to show it to us, but we had the right to film it. And so when this young lady tried that, everybody was saying she needs to go to jail, all that stuff. And I kept telling her he need to pause, because now I read the law. The law said that she had a right to do so because she was invited in. But they used that as that reasoning. So myself and others contacted them and told them, you need to continue to show it.
That's why he needed another lawyer. He needed that. That lawyer was well connected. To not him, he just took the money and ran. That was not good defending at all. So that's why I said he was lynched. He was lynched. And are we not forgetting that the county that they're in? Are we not forgetting the city that they were in? An all-white jury? Really? I would just, if that was the case, then I would cop the plea. Because I know I'm not going to win. An all-white jury, a white judge, a white defense attorney, a white prosecutor with the witnesses and my portrayer. Nah, that's a lynching.
Because you said illegal and criminal, and nothing she did was either one of those things. So we started fighting them on that, and that's still an ongoing battle. They know that time is always on their side. It's never on our side. So when they do something, they know it takes a while for you to fight and get them to actually do right. And for you, it doesn't work that well. So that's kind of where that was. But
well, you can just label it like this: a black man cannot defend himself anywhere, especially in Texas. Just label it that way.
But it was a concerted effort from the beginning. They just didn't know what to do because they didn't expect for so many people to be interested in this Carmelo Anthony situation. And normally, we gotta be honest, we don't be interested. We'll be like, what happened to that boy? And then a month later, we're asking, hey, whatever happened to little Pola Ting Ting? Did he get locked up? But in this situation, since a lot of us live in this area and live here, I live in Little Elm, and Frisco is right. It's our sister city right next to us. Some of my kids go to their schools. Some of their kids go to our schools. We were privy to that moment from that day. I was actually in the area when it happened. And so we were getting real-time information from the schools, from parents, from all of that. So it made us interested, even though a lot of people in this community wasn't paying attention until he went to trial. But there was a few of us that got interested. We dug in, started figuring out what was what. When I saw the video, we've been advocating for him through the death threats, through displacement. I just moved into another house from being displaced in November, right after Thanksgiving, because of death threats and people coming in my house. And so it's been a journey, getting doxxed and all kind of stuff. But to me, the righteousness of our people is more important to me than my safety or peace of mind in my bed. So that's kind of why I spoke up to this moment.
Okay, so this is a good place for us to kind of go into some of that now, without saying anybody's name, because we don't want to get these agitators and these liars any more ammunition. Now, there's been stories that, you know, the folks been lying, making it seem like folks is messing with these Metcalf people. And I know, because I have followed the story, and I know that the family stated that they had to move so many times. Then Dominique, I can't remember his whole name, but the guy that was working with them said they had moved about 8 times. We know that the father, you know, Carmelo Anthony's father, who was the only person really working in the house taking care of the family, they continue to go to this man's job.
How you doing?
Therefore, he is not working. So these folks have been harassed. People have showed up at their homes. And I know you, because you had stated that you had been advocating on this case since 2025. You have been subjected to being harassed. You had talked about your home living situation. Can you kind of explain what you have went through just from trying to advocate and help this family without even saying the folks? You know, you don't have to say their name.
Yeah, it's been tragic, to be honest with you. I guess is the word I can choose. It's been tragic, and not only for myself, but a lot of people who were advocating for this family. Because I started in April advocating for them when it happened, and so from being doxxed to people calling my business phone trying to get me fired from my own business, to people showing up my house, being locked up by people that were advocating with me, which I thought it was.
It's kind of funny. Carmelo Anthony is so guilty, right? But you're harassing his family. Harassing the man's job. Giving him death threats. Motherfucker's got to move 7, 8 times. And he's the guilty one? That doesn't make any sense.
There's the people on the other side doing it, but I found out through court records, it was actually some people that were advocating with us on this side that now I found out were actually working with the other side. It's complicated, but that's that moment. I will speak to this. I will say this, because I did see a lot of information and people talking about Dominique Alexander, who was and still is, the spokesman for the family. And I will say this about Dominique. That man has been solid from the beginning, and he's been the same now till yesterday, because I haven't seen anything about him today. And so I know people have their understanding and their feelings, but a person that's a spokesperson is only that. They're your spokesperson, and they're only doing what you tell them to do. And so a lot of things that Dominique tried to do in this situation, he can only do what he's told to do and speak for the family. And so I do know in the beginning, and I will speak to this, in the beginning, he stepped up. He started speaking for the family. He brought who he trusted. I'll put it that way. And that was Miss Cole and Mr. Clark. That was on this case right after the court-appointed attorney recused himself because he had a conflict of interest, which that was the Metcalfs and other people involved with them. And so since he had that conflict of interest, Dominique brought the people that he knew, that he trusted. They were there for a little bit, started working on the case. Those were other people advised the family they need to go with Mike Howard. And they interviewed him. They did all those things. They chose him. So at that point, of course, Dominique is the spokesperson. He has to go with the family.
But you're incriminating the parents for picking this particular lawyer. How were they supposed to know? But people are blaming the father for picking this lawyer. It's not like it's not like they had any Johnny Cochrans around or Jasmine Crockett's to help with the case. Jasmine couldn't do anything. She's too busy working on campaigns and stuff. She couldn't do that.
They chose. Now, in that moment, was it the right choice, wrong choice? People can debate that all they want to. I've said since September of last year that they need to fire him. And I said since September last year that if they didn't fire him, this baby did not need to go to trial, because we went to trial. These people had it set up for him to get 30 years. I said that from September all the way till February. And so
don't mean to cut you off, but of course we're still not going to reveal names. You have people there that's telling you stuff, right? Is that correct? So you have people there. So when he says he knows this, it is because he has inside sources, guys. I just want to lay that foundation because we'll get deeper into it because you know, you have people that, and how interesting is it that you said that he was going to get 30 years and he got, was it 35 years? Is that what he got?
Correct.
Regular guy, hit the link. I need to talk to regular guy. Regular guy, hit the link.
I just needed to back up. Yeah, I'm on a phone call. You need me back up? I'm just asking these police have somebody pulled over, so I didn't want to be in their way. But yeah, so
don't get in trouble.
I do have people that I speak to and that I know. And so in those moments, hold on just a second. I'm just going to ask them right quick.
Okay.
Do y'all need me to back up out of your way? You need me to back up out your way?
I just took him off of the speaker.
That was something about when I'm finding there, have somebody pulled over and like they're doing a warrant check. So I just wanted to make sure I was out the way. But yeah, so I do have people that I know that's on all sides that I had a privy to talk to. Even at the day that we were there out at the courthouse and he had been found guilty, I had people who came out of their houses that came to greet us and to come pull us to the side and say, hey, we never thought that he was going to be convicted because they had no case. So we took money to do agitating stuff, to do this, to do that. And so these individuals are willing to go on record and say what they know and know what they say. And I guess I'll put it that way. So yes, I do have people that I've talked to throughout the year and some change. I have people that have come to me and have emailed me and have called me since then that have information on all the people that we only suspected was doing some stuff nefarious to this family. And I have to say this too. There is nothing that Andrew Anthony and Kayla Anthony have done to do nothing but support their son throughout this case. Let me say that. Because at the end of the day, these people were put and subjected to something they were not used to. And so they have to trust people. And if people don't understand that, then they need to just get a life. Because you do have to go through things sometimes that you don't understand. And they trusted a lot of people to give them advice.
Hold on, Tom.
And it was just some bad moments going on. And so they'll parse through that and be able to talk about that on their own. Andrew Anthony told y'all that he wished he could have.
Let me stop this because I don't know how to stop it any other way. Go ahead and do your thing, bro.
Hey. Okay, to all you stupid people out there that think racism is dead, I didn't get the memo for that, okay? Because y'all is a bunch of dipsticks. And you know what? I am sick and tired of you so-called black conservatives trying to just ignoring everything. Like that UFC's fight, we have UFC fights that Michelle Obama's a man. I think y'all black conservatives are a bunch of women or babies that don't have your diapers changed no more. Okay? That's it. You ain't got your diapers changed, you didn't get your butt wiped and stuff. And you ain't got nothing, you ain't got no balls no more. And I'm sick, you know why? Because I'm sick and tired of these so-called black conservatives trying to think they didn't know all of what they don't. They ain't got no brain between them anyway. So they like the Manchurian candidate. They think they're real, but they're not. So there.
Hey. And hey. I mean, it's just like it's like talking to a fly on a fucking wall. It's you can't get. It's. I'm white and I say so. That's the only thing I can come up with. Because if you're not, this is America. If you're not American, this is what I was told. There's no such thing as black and white, right? There's only Americans. If you are American, then I mean we're with you 100%. It's either that or nothing at all. But if we're such American people, if we're such American, how come we don't get the same opportunities as whites do? Where's our 40 acres and a fucking mule?
We ain't got we're not getting no reparations. We-On-Loc Nation. It'll never happen.
No, I'm not speaking on the fucking reparations part because we ain't never gonna get that.
No,
unless we do it through blood. But we got some people that are too goddamn tribalism. So
I can't see you, man. I want to see you.
Oh, hold on. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. But go ahead.
Listen. Okay. You know what? Hey, some of you white conservatives, your Donald Trump is your hoe, is your pimp, and your bunch of hoes to your pimp. Okay. If you don't get what you want, if he doesn't tell you what to do, he'll go beat the mess out of you, and you won't like you no more. He's an abomination. He should have never been spawned in the first place. Okay. I am sick and tired of you black conservatives. You're the bump. You lost your blackness. You're not black no more. And I feel sorry for some of the people that have to listen to these stupid so-called black conservatives. That's bowing down to mass. Okay, that's all they're doing. They're just bowing down to him like it's a pacifier. They suck it up. They suck it up until there's nothing left of it no more. It's an 80-year-old. His little friend's like an 80-year-old pacifier, but you gotta stick in your mouth and suck it every doggone day.
God damn.
Okay.
God damn.
You know what?
I know how you feel. I know how you truly feel. But it's like you gotta get along to get along, Tanya. I'm just saying. You gotta get along to get along.
Listen, We-On-Loc Nation, they're not gonna say nothing because they're gonna be bowed down to massa. That's it.
Pretty much.
I'm sorry to say to the We-On-Loc Nation, they will be bowing down to their massa until he ain't in the White House no more. Okay. They probably got that UFC fight down there. Thinking, you know what?
Oh yeah,
that UFC fight down there.
What do you think about that? What do you think about the guy from UFC calling Michelle Obama a man?
I've heard about that before, but I think he's more of a woman. That UFC fight is more of a woman than Michelle Obama is. Okay, he got to wear bra and panties every freaking day. Okay. So he needs a sex change operation, okay? And I'm in mourning, but I'm still mad as hell, okay? And to you talk about back to service, you're an embarrassment, and you're letting the voting rights act that me and my grandparents fought for being torn asunder, okay? It's being torn asunder, and y'all are just standing there just saying, yes, Master, I will help you out, Master. I will do what you want, Master. I will tell the Voting Rights Act, Master. The Voting Rights Act is gone, Master. We got a new Voting Rights Act, Master. Master Trump, I will do what you freaking want, Master. What do you want me to do, Master? Okay? Strip the Voting Rights Act, Master. I'll do that for you, Master. Let's see what you gotta do. Hey, Master. I will stick up for you, Master. Anything you do wrong, you're doing the right thing for yourself, Master.
Hey, listen.
Okay, We-On-Loc Nation. You so-called black conservatives, you ain't got no balls. You're just a bunch of mindless slaves to your master, and I don't feel sorry for none of y'all if he votes you off. Okay.
One more thing. You know Mike Johnson's taking away Social Security, right?
He's down to his pimp too. Okay, We-On-Loc Nation. And before I go, in the famous words of Captain Murtaugh, I'm getting too old for this shit. Bye. Thanks for having me. I'm still in mourning, but you black conservatives are a bunch of asses. Thank you very much.
Love you. And that is the great sermon from the great Tanya from Hammond Nation. Give a clan a clap. Give a clap. Stop hating. All y'all haters. Why y'all hating? Y'all hating an elderly woman. That's just goddamn mean. Y'all, Yo, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. That was a beautiful sermon. Woo! I feel that in my spirit. Oh, let's go.
Just got to a place to where he went rogue, to where he could just jump on out the way and go and talk to those people that they were telling not to talk to. I was one of those people that he was talking about. And so I'll speak to that. And so, but we do, and I do have information about a lot of things that's inside. And so we do know a lot of those people that were nefarious to this family. And some are still speaking for the family right today. And we'll deal with that another time because it's not the platform to do it. But
right. So
yeah, go ahead, sis.
So basically, what you're saying, or what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying that there are people who were paid to do all kind of stuff because they did not think that he was going to actually get convicted. So they took the money, did what they were doing, but now that he has been convicted, they feel sorry. Is that what you're saying? That they participated?
Yes, they felt sorry and confused. One young boy was crying so hard, and he actually brought the money that they gave him. He had it at home.
What do you mean? That you gotta reframe that question. That question, that I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Federal maximum wage needed to be $16 to match the spending power in seniors. I don't care about spending power. I don't care about none of that shit. When you have a guy that can waste over $4 trillion over a meaningless war, I could care less. All that money, including the 1.8 billion that he sued himself for, to get back that money, to give the money to a bunch of crazy people for the Jan 6 Act. I don't want to hear about fucking minimum wage. Bump the shit up. Bump the shit up to an affordable wage, which in my eyes, $23 and up. $23 and up.
In his jar. And he brought it to give it to us because he felt so sorry. In his mind, he never thought that these people were ever going to be able to do anything to Carmelo other than let him go home, because he knew as a young person what really happened. And so he was like, hey, free summer money for me to be able to go and buy stuff and do stuff. But it's just a moment to where you get to a place to where you're trying to figure out this whole space. And I think that's why so many emotions were so high. They were very high. You had people crying. You had news media crying out there at the courthouse. They had to come. They had to compose themselves so they can go back on their live and on their news stations and actually give the report. And that's just how emotional it was, because there was no one out there, save myself and a couple others, that knew that thought he could ever get convicted. But I knew that it was already a moment that they had planned, because, again, I will say these names, and that's on me. This is not the host or the platform. You have Judge Roach, you have D.A. Willis, you have Jeff Metcalf, you have Sarah Fields. All these people are part of the MAGA Republican Party here in North Texas. They all hold some type of... Yes, go ahead, man.
I just want to say this. Those names that you have stated, I've heard some stuff. So it's
it's a lot. And so, but they're all, and this is just one connection. They're all part of the Republican wing and connection here in North Texas. Some of them hold positions. Others are just fundraisers.
Soldier, you really truly hate yourself. You truly do. I just wanted to stop this video and tell you outright, you truly do hate yourself. And you are a waste of black skin. You truly are. You are a waste. You are spiritually, you're gone. You're spiritually gone. For you wanting to send this innocent child, this innocent victim, let's paint this picture. If I'm sitting there, if I win a track meet and everything's over, everything's finished, I get invited by a person who I thought was a friend of mine, according to reports and according to the trial. That was a so-called friend. Yeah, sure. So I get invited, and I'm to the opponent's bleachers. True, it was raining. True, we was just sitting there chilling, minding our own business for about 9 or 10 minutes. Then comes people from the right, people from the left. Here come the Metcalf brothers, 212 pounders, just talking shit to each other. You know how kids do. You're just talking shit. And then you telling me to leave? Who the fuck do you think you are? You're not even supposed to be here. You're suspended. Ooh, or haven't you forgotten that part of the story? But y'all don't care. You're suspended. And since your suspension, if it was a real problem with me being over there, there's security. Go grab him. Go grab security. Hey, dude. Yo, he don't want to move. Go ahead and grab security. Go grab security. Hey, dude, he don't want to move. Go grab security for me. All right. Go grab security. Go grab security. But that never did happen, did it? No, that never did happen. Because you were very, very passionate that day. Because possibly maybe something that was said or maybe something that was done or whatever the case may be, right? You obviously had something on your mind. You wanted to beat my ass for talking shit. Instead of that, you just pointed and tell me to leave. But then your brother comes up behind me and grabs me while I'm still sitting, by the way. And that's when I reach in, that's when I grab my bag and it's like, don't put your hands on me, dude. Do not put your fucking hands on me. And you still do it. And then that's when I reach into my bag and I said, find out what? Fuck around and find out. I wish it was a knife this big, though. Just cut this. Nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So anyway, that's when it's, oh, he ain't got nothing. He ain't got nothing. And they just started shoving him. And then he gets shoved from behind. I think it was a Hunter boy. Hunter grabs my bag and tosses it while you shove me to the ground. Or you're not shoving me to the ground. I'm already sitting. You're shoving me in position. I'm already in position and you're shoving me. And so I grab my bag and then that's when the ass kicking starts. These were teammates. These were teammates of the Metcalf brothers. He didn't have no, Carmelo didn't have no teammates. He had a so-called friend. You had a so-called friend. I won't block you. I'll keep listening to your ignorance all day. Doesn't bother me. It doesn't, demons don't bother me. So he goes in and he tries to flee for his life, but he gets dragged back in. That's the testimony. He gets dragged back in and puts me in the chokehold. Why are you putting me in the chokehold? And while I'm getting choked on, I'm getting hit. I'm getting hit here and I'm getting hit here. Oh, there's no pictures. That's funny because Fox had the first photo of, or the, no, not the first, because it was possibly not CNN, CNBC or something like that. But anyway, those local stations had the actual picture of Carmelo Anthony's when he had his had scars on his neck and he had rings on his eyes. I would have sued that shit. I would have sued that fucking Fox for animating that into thinking nothing happened to him. Nothing happened to him. Nothing happened to him. You're delusional. Find the video, watch it for yourself. None of you, and I'm not talking to you, Barbara, I'm not talking to anybody else, but for the delusional people, find the video and look at it for yourself. Find the video and look at it for yourself. As a matter of fact, I'm going to let this goddamn thing play. Hopefully it works.
Jeff Metcalf has been a fundraiser and a supporter for them for decades in his real estate ventures. Some of his real estate guys have actually helped get me in trouble during this venture, and I'll talk about that another time. But they're all part of that moment. And so since that's the case, they all had an express motivation to do what they did to Carmelo. Because if you really investigate this case, Hunter, EP, who is Eddie, the guy that testified, Chris, Ant, I'll just say his nickname, Ant, and a few others will be the one.
Why do you keep saying it's a knife? It was a purpose tool. What? Not. I don't know. I don't know any. The defense. The defense said it was a purpose tool. It's a purpose freaking tool. It's a purpose tool. Just let's stop with the bullshit. It was a purpose tool. But in the state of Texas, it's legal. It's legal to keep something like that. It's perfectly legal in the state of Texas. As long as it doesn't pass, as long as it doesn't pass the threshold of 5.5, you're good. As long as it doesn't pass the threshold of 5.5, you're good. It was deadly. My fist can be deadly. Anything can be deadly in the state of Texas. Anything can be deadly. Look at the guidelines. Look at the go to the state of Texas, find out what is considered a weapon or not. Your fist can be registered as deadly weapons. So if Carmelo were to hit Austin, and I wish he would have, but then again, 100-pound difference, it might not have hurt him. But he was in fear for his life because we're talking about two 213 pounders. So 213 pounds, we're looking over, 450 pounds. Under 450 pounds. And you think one little 138 or 130 pound fist is going to come on now. Quit acting stupid. Let's just stop acting stupid, please. Just stop acting stupid.
In jail for the murder of Austin Metcalf, because that's how the law reads in Texas. And if you're during the commission of a felony and you caught and one of the people, the perpetrators, are unalive, at that point in time, all of you become guilty of that greater crime, which is the unaliving or the murder. Yeah.
I said that before you joined. I said, look, because I always tell them I'm not a lawyer, but I can read and look up stuff. I said, I believe that's a law.
I don't give a fuck if it was on school property. If motherfucking white boys can bring fucking guns to a goddamn mall or a grocery store, what is a fucking white boy doing with AK-47s? Did you have this same heartfelt sentiment? Did you have this same quote unquote heartfelt sentiment, Kyle Rittenhouse? Or how about Dylan Roof? Did you have the same sentiment for Dylan Roof?
That if you are committing a crime, a crime is we're gonna go whoop his tail. That's still a crime. You're not supposed to be doing that. But in the commission of that,
as a black man, why does it matter to you? As a black man living in America, unless you want to be white so much, why does it matter to you? Why does it matter, black man? Or should I call you white man? Why does it matter to you? Black people have been fearing for their lives for fucking centuries. That's why they carry guns, do they not?
Somebody loses their life, we're all going down. That's what I told them.
Correct.
That's what I told them. Now, can you tell? Now, I know you spoke about different people being paid to do different things, but they did not realize that this was going to result in a conviction. Talk about the agitators that were outside the courthouse. Did you have any? Did you run into any of them? Because I heard a lot of, there were a lot of agitators, and I believe I saw in another.
Yeah, that's rich coming from you.
Interview that you did.
That's rich.
That you said somebody was rich. Out there and you said somebody kept coming back or something. And you asked them, like, what were they doing? And the person said, look, I was just paid to be here.
450 pounds. Use your fist. 450 pounds. And I can't do anything because I'm trying to flee from my life and you drag me back in. You sound stupid, sir.
Here.
Yeah, you had a lot of that. You had a lot of people that showed up probably 3 days in a row, and they would just ride the parking lot. You had some people that came, and there's a video of that they kept coming, and one of the people that was out there with us was like, "What are y'all doing?" And they started yelling the N-word, calling them monkeys and everything else. And she ended up throwing some Cheetos at him. And I think he was surprised that she actually did it. You had people like that all over the place. Some people that used to be advocators for Carmelo Anthony came out of the courtroom before he was actually.
Dude, why don't you bring your bitch ass up and talk your shit, bro? Regular dude, why don't you bring your white ass up and start talking your shit then? Because you's a pussy. That's why.
Actually sentenced, or before he was actually found guilty while they were deliberating, went and got something to eat, and they were riding the parking lot laughing and doing the same thing that Sarah Fields and her people were doing with their kids in the back seat, laughing at the signs, because we had plenty of signs out there. And when he was found guilty, and that same individuals that used to advocate and still right now advocating for him were out there laughing. And they told their followers that they were actually in the courtroom when he got sentenced. They lied. because they were outside with us, looking at us, cuss me out, roll by, cuss me out right quick. So all these things are real things. There's from all paid and out there certain things to cheer out there, because it was theoretically peaceful. Even with some of the MACAF people that showed up, until Jake Lane showed up with his little protest moment that got him ultimately arrested on the $1 million bond and they're locked up for right now. And just people like that came out. So it was a lot of agitators, a lot of paid people, and it was a young lady and a man in the car. They just kept riding. So I went to them, asked them if they needed anything to drink, because we had Gatorade, water, and they stopped and it was like, yeah, bro, we'll take some. And we just got to talking. And he was like, bro, I'm just riding around because they paid me to come over here and look at y'all and laugh. I was like, bro, keep doing what you're doing. They paid you, make sure you get your money worth. And we laughed and went on by our business, because I understood that this was deeper than just Carmelo, the Metcalf twins, the kids that were there. It was just deeper. And I understood that it had a deeper meaning that was past all this moment, because a lot of those people did not even care about Austin losing his life. They didn't even care about whether Carmelo did it in self-defense or not. They just cared about the opportunity to make money, to get their fame, and some for whatever ideological purpose or religious purpose or political purpose that they chose to do what they did in that courtroom. I don't understand that yet. I'm going to get to the bottom of it, and that's what we're working on right now. But it's a greater moment than just these guys choosing to bully like they've been doing since the 4th grade and stepping up to Carmelo and doing what they did.
I didn't say all whites were the same now, did I? I said you have some demons who, in this particular time, while the Trump administration is in office, are emboldened to do and say whatever they want to do. Now, if you're not one of those people, don't involve yourself. Just don't involve yourself. I can care less what you do. Just don't involve yourself. I mean, you got way too many things going on. You got people doing drive-by shootings at a fucking not funeral, but a family reunion. We're talking kids, grandkids, grandmas, mothers, grandfathers, fathers at a black family funeral in Chicago. Was it in Chicago? Just minding their own fucking affairs. And you got some stupid ass white man driving by yelling the word nigga and shit. Like, what the fuck is that? And then you can't defend yourself in Texas. And then, of course, you get your neck stomped up on. And then the next thing you know, you got a black kid, a 19-year-old black kid, trying to give a wallet back that was dropped by somebody. And the first door that he goes to and knocks on the door, he gets shot mid-chest. Rest in peace. I think his name is Jason Miller. I think he's from North Carolina. You have no shame. No fucking shame. Breonna Taylor was butt naked when the FBI came knocking on her door. And she got shot center mass. And I'm supposed to feel sorry for you motherfuckers? No. There are too many, way too many black folks. Way too many black folks who want to just have a seat at the table because you're afraid. You black conservatives are so fucking afraid. Very afraid. Massa boss. They they don't know how to keep, but that's the thing, they don't know how to keep their hands to themselves. You don't know how to keep your hands to yourself. So therefore, we don't have to whoop that ass. Plain and simple. Plain and fucking simple. You need to say who's to blame. The Metcalf brothers are to blame. What are we talking about? If they would have had to just call, if they would have had to call security, they got to call an adult and taking care of business, they would still been alive. Plain fucking simple. And I'm still waiting on this bum to hit the chat. Not you, now I'm talking, not you, but I'm waiting on this bum. But he's still here, so. No, don't talk to Barb, talk to me. Hit the link. Hit the fucking link. Quit being a bitch. Hit the fucking link, nigga. Hit the motherfucking link. Conservative what? Conservatives are cooked. Conservatives what? Conservatives are cooked by the same people Democrats are. Listen, you can blame Democrats all day long. I just gave you the fucking link, dummy. Where did I put it? Man, it went so fast. Let's see. Scroll up, find it. Crooked. I don't know what that is. But I get your point. Yeah,
because all the testimony in the court said that Eddie, Eddie, actually told Carmelo as he was walking by to go stretch, hey, come here, Melo, come here. And he came here and he sat down. They dapped up and they talked. And in between that, someone reached out to the Metcalf twins and other friends, and they came from the school area and they came over there and assaulted him. That's a fact. That's what's on the video. That's what was said in the courtroom. How can you get from that and then the jury come back and say that the man is guilty of murder?
Right.
Because the fix was already in.
I'm glad you went there. So let's get into it. Tell us what you saw when you watched the video.
Okay, when I saw the video, you can see that Carmelo and other kids are already sitting up under the canopy. And it wasn't just Memorial kids sitting up under the Memorial canopy. It was other kids too, because all of them had friends around. You had the Memorial canopy. You had two canopies from Timberview. They're back to back right next to each other. And then you had another canopy next to that. And so right there, it was peaceful. You can just see kids sitting. The administrator that's there showing you the video tells you, hey, look right here in the top right-hand corner, because that's where you're going to see the boys coming from. And she's speaking of the four. And you can actually see those four.
One thing I want to say, Dwayne, because that's the part that everybody says this. When they say when you come in to watch the video, they tell you, look right here. So it's crazy that they can tell you where to look so that you can see what's getting ready to happen. But nobody saw.
You gonna chicken out like a pussy? You gonna chicken out like a pussy? I'll do you one better. I will do you one better. Dude, ban this motherfucker. Y'all got the wrenches, y'all got the ammo, ban this motherfucker since he wants to be a fucking pussy. Stupid bitch. And ban this motherfucker too. Ban this Sambo. In fact, I'll just time him out. He ain't nothing but a goddamn joke. These Sambos is something else, boy. Boy, eating massa crumbs. It wouldn't work. I gotta figure this shit out. I gotta figure this out. Maybe if I can borrow, but she won't let me borrow her laptop. She won't let me borrow her laptop. I know my wife would not let me borrow it. I don't want that mess in my laptop. I'm like, ain't nothing go. I'm gonna clear everything, babe. I'm gonna clear everything. I do need a job application. Is your wife available?
What happened? That doesn't make any sense.
Correct. Because she's telling you all kind of things. She's telling you it's a lot going on, because it was. It's a lot going on. Kids are working out in the field. You can see some parents or grandparents sitting right up under the 40-yard line camera that's over on the home side. And the guy had his hand on his forehead like this the whole time, because he's looking directly at what's going on.
What I'll do is I'll mess with it a little bit and then see if it should work. It should actually work, but I'll fiddle with it a little bit after I get off.
You can see the raindrops coming down, and right when the twins, well, actually it was right when they were coming up, one of the boys veered off to the right. It actually was two of them, but on the camera you could see one that veers off to go to the coaches to distract them. And then you see the other boys coming along. One goes in front of them and bypasses the little girl in the yellow poncho. You hear people talk about that all the time, which is EP's sister. She was sitting down there at the bottom. And then you see the four guys that come up and walk up. And so these four boys never sit down. They never do anything but surround Carmelo. And you heard in the court that the attorney, the district attorney, was trying to get the witness to say, well, they weren't in a U shape, they were in an L shape. You know, that's the type of contention they had, but they were actually surrounding him. So Carmelo is sitting down. Yeah, he was sitting down. And so when they came up to him, you could see the thinner boy, which is on the end, which was one of the little black boys. He was kept going up and down. So that means he was agitating Carmelo. You could see Austin Hunter directly in front of him. And the mixed young man was sitting over to the right. So they had him cornered in. He couldn't go anywhere. And so at this point, they are sitting there. Austin actually pushes Carmelo. And he pushes him so hard until he falls back and hit the bleachers. Now, in courtroom testimony, they said that he actually fell in the lap of another kid. But there was no other kid sitting behind Carmelo. So there's that. And so he did hit his head. He came back up. And once he hit his head and came back up, then you seen Austin.
Don't mean to cut you off. I do want to say.
So there was pushing, shoving, and hitting. And you're going to try to deny? That is crazy. And these are one of the people who saw the tape, saw the actual tape, and you're going to say that Carmelo is a killer? First of all, the word killer is a bit much, because this would be his first offense. He's never been in jail. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't do none of that shit. Never murdered or killed anyone. He never did any of that in his life until a year ago. That is crazy.
This. Mm-hmm. One thing that we learned about Carmelo is that he suffered from seizures.
He did.
So you throw somebody and they hit their.
Eddie was the one that turned on him. Yes. Because he ultimately said, paraphrasing, we were cool, but I don't know him like that. Anybody who says that, and I will repeat it again, we're cool, but we ain't cool like that. Anybody who says that just fucked up your testimony. Just fucked it up for you. Just completely fucked it up for you.
He could have lost his life. You
He
feel
could
what I'm
have.
saying? He had every right to defend himself because nobody knows where it would have went after you know what I mean? After he hit his head, who knows what would have happened after that moment?
Correct. And that's kind of the whole moment of it. He suffered from epilepsy, so he suffered seizures. He also had surgery on his shoulder. He had injured it in football, and so he was recovering from that. They had just cleared him to go back to the track and start running. So he had a lot of disadvantages. He was smaller than them. It was two big dudes there and two other dudes that played football, and then they had other guys that was around. It was a young man. I ain't gonna say his name, but he was filming the whole thing. That's the one that we see on Snapchat of the 2 minutes before. That everybody had the still pics of Carmelo sitting and we could see him from behind. That's a whole video. That young man filmed the whole fight. So
you're saying that there's somebody on TikTok?
He's on, I said Snapchat, my bad. On Snapchat, not TikTok. Yeah,
so
Snapchat.
Snapchat, and he has this stuff online?
Correct. It's been shown all over the place, and a lot of us have the 6-minute video of him showing in the still shots. He has the full video. And also, let's just be honest, a lot of people have seen his full video because it was actually out on Reddit. Some people seen it on their Snapchats. It showed, but it was a disappearing link, and they didn't know to record it. And so it's out there. I know this as well because here in the local area, on the 2nd of April, the 3rd of April, and the 4th of April of last year, we actually saw kids posted on their social media. And so we saw the fight. We saw the incident. They call it the fight, but it was the incident of Carmelo getting jumped. So we saw it until they scrubbed it and took it down. And so a lot of people still have that video. They still have that feed and that footage. It's just that they've gotten threatened. They've gotten all those things. It was actually alleged in court, so I'll say it, that Jeff Metcalf had actually did a whole barbecue for all the witnesses to come to, and that's where he threatened all the parents. And so that's something that we contended and said last year. They actually brought it up in court, so I'll say it here. And so those are things that happen. So you can see them actually jumping him. The first person to throw a punch was Hunter. Hunter cold-cocked the boy, and that's when they jumped on him.
You got some crazy ass people in chats. I don't know why they come to mind, but no, if you're gonna leave. Take your stupid ass out of my fucking way. I'll find a way to ban you. As a matter of fact, the next time I stream, I'm gonna put it on my community wall. What stream I'm gonna be streaming. And I want your punk ass there. I want your stupid ass there, right? And we're gonna have a little conversation. We're gonna have a conversation and see how much of a high IQ person you really are. Racist ass bastard.
That's funny that you say that because right before you joined, I said this boy is guilty. You can see it in his face. He knows that something he did caused his brother's death. I said that. I said he.
And shouts out to Cardi B. I can't say it enough. Shouts out to Cardi B. Shouts out to 50 Cent, and shouts out to Kendrick Lamar. Definitely shout out to Kendrick Lamar, though, for helping the brother out. Better late than never.
Correct. He is guilty. When I look at him talking and he's doing that press conference, he's looking up, he's looking down. That's a sign of guilty. A person who can't look you in your face, they have something to hide. And then as I watched his mother, it's almost like she's crying, but she's not telling the full story either, because I believe she knows what happened.
They both do. And I'm going to tell you that as a fact, and this is Dwayne saying that Jeff Metcalf and Megan Metcalf definitely knows the truth. But they're stuck between a rock and a hard place because Austin was their favorite child. and they know that Hunter is guilty of causing that man not to be here no more, because Hunter is the one that started the whole situation.
That is correct. If you're going to blame anyone for Austin not being there anymore, blame his brother. I would say blame the white woman for trying to revive him, which you're not supposed to do that. But blame it on. But this situation, if it wasn't for the both of them, technically, if it wasn't for Hunter, Austin would have still been here. So you got three things going on, three scenarios. Number one, Hunter started the fight. Austin was the aggressor, but Hunter started the fight. Two, you could have grabbed an adult, could have grabbed security, could have grabbed police. The police were there. The coaches were there. The security for that event that day were there. Why didn't you get them? And third, you got a person who was faking like he was recording. You should really put him. You should really indict him, not indict. I would have gave him a couple of years for acting stupid, acting completely stupid. Yes, you're not supposed to service him or give him any type of medical attention. The most you can do is try to cover that wound, because the wound was this way and not this way. So you had to cover that wound with something and just hold it in place until the ambulance would arrive. He had a 50-50 chance of living, a 50-50 chance of surviving. All he had to do was just lay down, because it stopped you there for a second when you couldn't breathe, and you couldn't breathe because you were losing oxygen. And when you lose oxygen, your face turns purple. You're losing blood, your face turns completely purple. But you still have time if you would have just covered up the wound, because your heart is pumping blood and your heart is losing. Your heart is losing blood and it's losing oxygen. So keeping it suppressed, you still had enough time to take him to the hospital. But because of Hunter, well, hey.
And so, as he said on his interview, that my brother always has my back, even when I'm wrong. He said that out of his own mouth. So that's on his interview, not mine. And so, since we know that, in that day, once he threw that punch, they all started beating on Carmelo. Carmelo disappeared at the bottom because they're all on him, and they're hitting each other, hitting him. Carmelo actually gets away. That's what people don't understand. He got away. He backed out. Austin grabbed his hood.
The coaches were still out and on the field. That's where the coaches were. The coaches were still out and on the field. They had a meet that day, and he ran up to the coach, and then he went to the police officer, which I don't know why he did that, but I guess he was scared. Okay, Barb, I can sense when he did that, he was scared. He was scared that not just for his life, he was scared that, well, he asked the question, is he going to be okay? Is he going to be okay? And when they told him no, that's when he started crying. But he was already under pressure anyway. Why are we making excuses for violence? I don't know. Ask the Metcalf brother. That's a good question. Ask the Metcalf brothers. Why are we not the that's the wrong question. Actually, the right question is, okay, why are we committing violence? Why are we committing violence? That is the right specific question. Why are we committing violence? Let's see if I can go live. Let me see. That's green screen. Oh, shit. Damn. Well, ask the Metcalf brothers. As a matter of fact, ask Jeff. Ask Jeff when you see him. Ask Jeff Metcalf when you see him, but he ain't gonna do nothing but say racial habitats or whatever. But
and pulled him back. And on the video, you can see his gray hoodie stretched out and him coming back. And you can see the look on his face. It was despair because he thought he got away from the beating and they got him. And when they brought him back in, Austin grabbed him and put him in a headlock. That's why you can see the ligature marks on the bottom of his neck. And that's when one of the kids, I believe, I don't know which one it was, so I won't call their name, but one of the kids actually testified to it in trial and said that they saw that Carmelo had to reach behind his back.
You keep bringing me
and
all these names.
He grabbed what was already open.
With all these names.
And when that happened, as the older white lady said, and I ain't gonna say her name, but she was sitting up on our canopy for a few days after she came from inside the courtroom. She told everybody that it was clear from what she saw that he fell on it. And that's something that we contended that Carmelo may have reached for something. He may have gotten it, but he definitely fell on it because the force that's needed to cause the damage that they're saying that happened, you have to have a lot of pressure. And Carmelo sitting down could never muster up that type of pressure. So he had to fall on it.
That's good.
And so, yeah.
Wait, let's stay there because so what you're saying is, and I've heard this before, he never stood up.
He never stood up. No. Even when he tried to get away, he was in a mood. When he got away the first time, he was kind of like if you know defensive backs in football, they're crouched down. And so just imagine he's sitting and he's crouched down trying to get away and they're pulling him. So he never fully stood up until the second time after he got away. And he ran backwards about 2 or 3 steps up. He looked to his right, and that's where the young man that was filming was sitting or standing with the film moment. And then he looked to his left and took off, and he went down. He fell. And when he fell, that's when they all realized he was gone because they didn't even know he was gone yet.
Shout out to the people from Saudi Arabia. Thank you for coming to the live. That is strange. People from Saudi Arabia? Damn, Barb, I'm internationally known now. Crap. Damn, I'm blessed. Shit. I am blessed. From Saudi Arabia. From the people from the dude from Saudi Arabia has well, let me not ask that question because this got nothing to do with the live. But I just wanted to. Are you people good? Are you people good over there? I'm not gonna mention anything about the war or anything, but because it's irrelevant to this live stream. I'll do something sometime next week, but known to rock a microphone. Wait, they can tell if it was a forward thrust, more than passive position or whatever. What are you saying, Barb? What are we talking about here?
And when they saw he was gone, they all got up to chase him. He got up and he ran. Even Austin got up to chase him. And Austin realized then that he was hit, that something had happened. And that's when he came down the steps and he fell down. But Hunter and the other 2 boys started chasing him But Carmelo was so fast that he got away so quick and got to the coach that they just stopped and pointed.
Right.
And that's when Hunter said he whipped his head around and he saw his brother.
You know what? When they
so they were fighting. But in a situation one-on-one, no. Because that's not a one-on-one battle. He was getting his ass whooped. Talking about Carmelo, they were really trying to hurt that boy. If you got to do all that chasing, think about it. If you got to do all that freaking chasing, I'm still trying to figure out how did the purpose tool get involved? I'm still trying to figure that out. And how big was the mark? How big was the hole? That is crazy. Okay. All right. We don't want to be petty. I'll call him a white boy that's dead. That should have been dead instead of him. How's that? Because he's the one that caused the shit, not Austin. Austin was the aggressor, but Hunter started the shit. So apparently he should have been in his position, not Austin. He should have been in that position. But I digress.
Said they chased them. I said, no, they was fighting. Because what are you chasing them for? If him and Austin is in a fight and he stuck them, what are you chasing them for? You need to get him help. Does that make sense? Because I knew that they all
from the
because they didn't know that he was. They didn't know he got poked. They didn't know that he was stabbed. Because they all, including Austin, tried to chase him when they realized because he got away and they were still fighting. Austin was at the bottom because he had Carmelo in chokehold, so he just figured that he was loose, so they still hidden. And then all of a sudden, that's when he fell. When he ran away and fell, they heard that fall, and that's when they all looked and like, oh, he getting away, and they all went to chase him. Austin tried, but he realized he was hurt, and so when all that happened, everybody know that they heard Jeff Metcalf and Hunter. Hunter said that he went and gave him aid. He held on to him and kept pressure on his wound and all that. That's a lie. Hunter never got close enough to him. He turned around, whipped his head around. He went to step forward. By that time, the other coaches were coming because Carmelo already told them what was going on. And so they were coming, and the coaches came. One coach held Hunter. He was screaming. That is true. He was screaming for real. And so since he was screaming, he never, ever got to his brother. Never. And so it's a moment to where if we just go at face value at what we knew before we got the trial, they're saying that Carmelo told them that he shouldn't have put his hands on me. I did it in self-defense. By Frisco PD's own policy, once a suspect has asserted self-defense, they have to arrest everybody. Take everybody down for questioning, take their statements, send all the evidence and the statements to the DA's office, and they send it to the grand jury, and you let the grand jury make the decision who's at fault. They never did that. If I tell you they had Carmelo...
Which they should have took everybody to jail. Everybody that was involved. Now it's making sense. Now it's making much sense. They should have took everybody who was involved in that fight to jail. That's including Mello. We're getting lost in the rain and the flight down here in Houston too. That's very important. But you could have just offered him your services instead of just acting like a complete asshole. Both of you would still been alive. But since Hunter started the shit, now it is quite clear to me. Why didn't they take these boys to jail. And it was more than 4. It was more than 4. Take the statements, take the evidence, take the statements. Case closed.
Were already booked and charged with the murder of Austin Metcalf before Austin Metcalf was even pronounced dead at 10:53 a.m. because they already knew what they wanted. Because when all those officers got to Kirkendall Stadium, they saw their friend's son laying there in this situation. And as the paramedic said, he was purple, and they had to administer blood to him, and then he perked back up. His color came back. They put him inside of the ambulance, and they were basically working on him as he had a heart condition, not that he was losing blood. And so that's why it was a pause. That's why they took him to the Plano Hospital instead of the hospital right by Kirkendall Stadium, because there was no rush. They didn't think they were going to lose him because it wasn't anything grave for the puncture that they had. It's not even that much blood on the scene in any pictures and photos that we've seen. So we know that this is a moment that it was a setup to protect the friends, and I think it became a moment of revenge for the Metcalfs because that was their favorite child. And the way that Jeff Metcalf looked at his son that day, the next day he did the interview on one of the news stations, and the guy said, "Hey, there's Hunter right now. You want to talk to him?" Jeff, his looks could have taken Hunter out that day, and he said, "No, I don't want to talk to him." And he sat there staring at him, and you can hear the car alarm on the truck, and you can hear the door close, you can hear the truck start, and Jeff didn't say a word. He was just looking at Hunter like,
you know what? Wow. And we wonder why and how, of course, they both get their attitudes from. They both get their attitudes from their father. That is insane. And the reason why the father didn't want to speak to Hunter was because Hunter broke his arm. God dang it, man. Whew. I don't know, Jeff. Maybe you should have taught your boys impulse control.
You should have been the one. And then all of a sudden he snapped out of it and he started talking.
That's you know what, you said something. When I was watching the video of the mom, and she said, Hunter called me and said that he had been stabbed, right? Do you know what the mother said? She said when she went to the hospital, so instead of her coming to where they were, she went to the hospital. Do you know what that lady said? He still hadn't made it to the hospital. So I'm sitting there like, what if they let the boy body just lay there?
Yeah,
you know. So when you say they didn't think he was going to die, I can relate to that because the mother, I would have to go back and watch the video, but it had been 20, 30 minutes. So I don't remember the exact time frame that she said, but she said that when he told her that he had, been stabbed and she knew what hospital, she went to the hospital. She had got to the hospital. They were not even there. So I'm like, just stay there with the boy's body. Maybe if you would have rushed him to the hospital. So when you say they didn't think that he was going to pass away, I believe it, because when I was listening to her, I said, so you mean to tell me you went to the hospital and they hadn't even came there yet?
Yeah, because they brought him to the hospital. They didn't code 3 or nothing like that. They took him. And when he got there, he was alive. When they took him into the room, he was there. He coded after he got to the hospital, and they worked on him. And that's when the doctor came, and he actually called him at 10:53 a.m. The thing about Megan Metcalf, she stated that she was coming from Grapevine, Texas. And anybody in the DFW area know good and well you're not going to get from Grapevine, Texas in the thick of the rush hour traffic in a storm and make it to Plano in less than 30 minutes. It ain't about to happen. And so the problem with that story is that I know that the Metcalfs both have been called already to the scene because the twins had already been caught messing with other people.
Witness alleged that Hunter had a gun. No one had guns. They didn't even know each other. Hunter and Austin did not know Carmelo that day. And they were off doing something else. So guns were nowhere in the mix.
I'll put it that way. And so they were already there. And I'll tell you they were already there because we'll go to Hunter's own words. Hunter said that his dad, Jeff Metcalf said that he was called by the coach of the middle school. He was called by the coach of the middle school to come to the school. The coach of the middle school wouldn't even known what was going on because they're teachers. And that was 9 a.m, 10 o'clock in the morning. He's got class. However, Hunter said that they were actually at the middle school, is what he said. We know that he did not go into middle school because they were never signed in, because we got the actual logs of all the people who signed in that day, and it wasn't Hunter them. And so with that being stated, his parents were called toward the school to talk to Hunter. And
I mean, if there was a gun involved, then it wasn't in the testimony. It wasn't in the trial. The murder weapon, the backpack, there was a testimony. Everything was locked up. So if there was a gun, obviously someone would have said it. When I heard the thing from Jasmine, and they had all those attorneys up there, no one mentioned gun. No one mentioned gun whatsoever. But I would not be shocked when this appeal happens, right? When the appeal happens, we'll find out. We will find out. I would rather Carmelo have a gun than a purpose tool or whatever. But then again, that's a little bit much. There was no gun found. Right. We need to see the video. That's what we need to see. We need to see this damn video. But I guess the video is not as... And plus, if we were to play the video, I would have gotten striked. That's mainly anybody. I would have gotten struck. She would have gotten struck. But if that's the... You shouldn't have nothing to hide, though. I mean, the verdict is in. It's pretty much over until the appeal hearing comes. And that could be anywhere from 30 days to 5 years, if that. But it's not going to take that long because they're going to push this appeal and push it very quickly. And I hope he gets a fair trial this time. He already has a new attorney. His new attorney, let me see. It's Donnie something. Carmelo's new attorney. Carmelo's new attorney. I might as well put Anthony because these. Carmelo Anthony's. No, not Carmelo Anthony's old attorney. His new attorney. Not Mike. Let me see. Give me 1 second. is hired a new defense attorney. What is his name? Here we go. What is it? Dang it. Agreeing close. God dang it. It was Austin Metcalf. Date we assumed. Why? I don't need to know about all that. Okay. So, Mike Howard. Mike Howard is the old attorney. Put the new one in the chat. You know what? Screw all this. I think I know where to go. Let me see. Information man. Okay, information man. Let's go to his post. Who is the attorney? Here we go. Donnie Perrell. That's his. He's a private attorney and former prosecutor based on McKinney, Texas. Has been appointed by the court to handle Carmelo's appeal. He is not a public offender. He's used to work with criminals away from courts. Now the courts hired him to represent Carmelo Anthony. So his name is Donnie Perales. Some guy, but that's his new attorney.
And Austin about actually bullying a young lady that went to Emerson. And that's the reason why, if you guys ever had a chance to hear the 911 calls or the dispatch calls from that day, you would hear the actual dispatcher and you would hear the police saying that, hey, we're looking for the suspect from Emerson. We have the suspect from Emerson. And they kept saying that because earlier the situation is that Austin and Hunter and their friends were bullying this one girl. She was the only girl there from Emerson for the track meet. And other kids made them leave them alone. So they went to the middle school because that's the coach that used to be there. He called Jeff. Megan came there and they were all there because I'm going to tell you the reason why we know. Hunter stated in his own statement on TV that he called his phone and his mom answered and he told his mom what happened at the stadium. And his mom said she turned around and went straight to the hospital. That's how she beat the ambulance because she was on her way from the middle school going on her way to work out there to the spot where the pizzeria is at. Okay. And on Grapevine, and she turned around and she beat them to the hospital. That's how that happened. Yeah, and so these are things that we know from.
What do you make of this, Barb? What do you make of this? I don't want to butcher your name, dear. Bertha. How what do you make of all this? Curious. Barb, you've been with me for a while. My imagination goes like this. Your imagination is a straight line. What do you make of all this?
From advocating, investigating.
I know you're not lying about that because when she said that, I said, damn. So they just done left the boy there for hours. Like, I'm trying to put so it makes sense. You know what that lady said? That lady said she was coming from work. That lady lied.
She did. She lied.
Coming from work. She said, I work out in, is it Grapevine?
Grapevine. Yeah.
That's what she said. And then so she said that knowing that she was already in the area because she had left the
Correct. And Jeff said that he was coming from home because he lives 5 minutes away. No, you were already on the scene. Jeff was actually in there when they were talking to Hunter and the EP dude, and Hunter was too hysterical to give a statement, but the other young man gave his statement. And then later on, after Austin died, they let the family in around 1 to see Austin after he died. By 2:30, 3 o'clock, his mother was in front of her house on WFAA Channel 8 News giving the interview. We know that Hunter went home with Jeff, took a shower, had fresh clothes on, and he came pulling up and he joined the interview. But you were too hysterical just 4 hours ago, to give a statement to the Popo of what happened. And so these are the things that we've been talking about for a year and some change that was just weird in this whole situation. And that's why I knew that he could not go to trial. And I shouted that from the mountaintop. I called everybody I could, but everybody was saying that, hey, don't talk to him. You don't need to be dealing with him. But it was something that I knew in my gut that went to trial, he was getting 30 years. Judge Roach just added 5 to it because he was the one that did it, because the jury could not figure out what they wanted to do. I think they said they had 3 jurors that wanted to give him the minimum, which is 5 years, and the rest of them wanted to throw the book at him. And so they kept arguing and bickering and all that stuff. And Judge Roach shut everybody up. And he said, I'll do it. And he sentenced them to 35 years.
I have a question, because I remember you did tell me.
So made the decision. Everybody was arguing that. That's what I thought. So I got to go back to Sharon and I tell him it wasn't the jurors. It was the judge that sentenced him to 35 years. Because the jurors wanted to send him for life. 99 years, that's just 35 years is basically life in prison. 99, that's double life. Texas ain't shit. And he wanted to get the shit over with because he wanted to sell his book. And he was going to retire a judge and just basically sell his book. He passed up a plea deal for 10 years. That's because he didn't do anything. He did not do anything. But I want to shout out to this person though, but that's now it's starting to be clear to me. It is starting to be clear what mainly happened. Why am I backwards? I gotta work with this thing, but it's clear to me now what transpired. But I want to show y'all this clip when I was on Sharon's panel and a guy came up there arguing some stupid shit about the whole Carmelo Anthony case, and it was just dumb. Let me see. And then I came up on the board and I started asking him questions.
No, I've said aggressor and aggressive. They're both the same.
Obviously, if you're defending yourself, you'll have to be aggressive.
Okay, so let me understand this. So if I'm fighting somebody, the other person hit me first, and I decided to fight back. Are you saying both of those people are aggressive?
Actually, yes, because the definition of self-defense is preventing them from attacking. So if you only got hit once and there was no risk of you being hit again, yes, you're actually being aggressive coming at the other person.
Wait, what? I think he's on drugs.
I'm on.
If I get hit once We don't have to insult. If I get hit
why not,
once,
Sharon? Why you being mean to me this morning?
That's how you lose the argument.
No, I'm not losing the argument. If you touch me, and I say don't touch me again, if you touch me again, I'm going to respond.
That is exactly what I just stated.
Yeah, but
if someone touches you once and you warn him, and they don't touch you again, you can't attack him and claim
self-defense.
If he touches you a second time, you have the right to respond.
Somebody who touches me, and I just stand up or sit down and say, "Hey, don't touch me again." That's me being passive. That's not aggressive. I'm actually asking you, "Hey, don't touch me again." Because if I was being aggressive, I would respond to being touched.
It's the veiled threat of find out what happens. I agree with you. Don't touch me is not aggressive.
What?
But when you make a veiled threat, that is being aggressive.
No,
that doesn't make sense. Somebody, he did something to him first.
Yes, we've all agreed.
And he's saying, "Don't do it again."
I agree.
See, here's the thing. I don't know what white folks be thinking sometimes. They don't want you to be violent at all. They want you to continuously walk away, just like back in the old days. Whenever they made fun of you or they started calling you names and shoving you and pouring water or whatever, just humiliating you. Your only response then was just to walk away. You had no right to defend yourself as of now. Here in 2026, you can't defend yourself unless it's black on black crime. If these were black kids, would y'all be so interested? That doesn't make no sense. Rewrite that.
And if
so
he
don't
does
do
it again,
don't do it again is the aggressor.
You're
and the whole time,
the other
listen. The whole time this is happening, he's still seated.
Oh.
Yes, and was the shove hard enough to shove him out of a chair? Was the shove hard enough to knock over a chair?
Yes.
But yet a stab to the chest is a proportional response?
So let's talk about that then. He's sitting in the chair with the guy.
What I should have did was I should have immediately went up there and said, when you have 450 pounders beat your ass along with everybody else who was involved, and now that I know, which I hope they talk about it tomorrow, and now that I know that, holy shit, they should have went to jail. They should have went to jail along with the Carmelo Anthony. Hunter should have went to jail. Austin couldn't go to jail because, well, you know that story. Hunter should have went to jail. Everybody else should have went to jail. They should have went to jail. I should have went up there. Shit. Well, let me go and find me. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Taz should be up there. Shout out to Taz, bro.
It's the video. Well, he should have the knife. Actually, he should have.
Taz or Hunter did not have a gun, sir. We're not going to be spinning the narrative. Hunter did not have a gun. He didn't have no brains, but he did not have a gun.
Because most people do. Well, he shouldn't have been in the tent. Prove that. Every time somebody brings that argument, I ask you to prove it. Because I actually know what is and is not allowed in that situation. I am actually telling you, he could have been in that tent. It wasn't kosher, but just because it.
You know that, and we know that. So we're not going to play dumb with you. And
how many people?
No.
Under that tent?
10 seconds. I said only want 10 seconds. You can jump in because you're white and you say so. You want to just jump in and say stuff. Relax. Have decorum. I'm going to be done real quick. For all the people that's triggered, I'll be done fast. Like I was saying.
Well, you've already lost me. I haven't been listening for the last 10 seconds because you out of the insults.
Sorry, I've been triggered.
All right, hold on. So, Shadow dropped 20 on Ignorant TV. It's $20 to bring yourself back, or somebody in the chat can bring Ignorant TV back for $20. Go ahead, Goat, and then we got Shadow right back.
Yes, so y'all had started touching on the knife a little bit, right? So I wanted to discuss that a little bit with you as well as the video. So in regard to this thing that's being called the knife, now Texas law says that's not a knife. Do you agree?
No, it is a knife.
Well, if you go ahead and Google it right quick, anything under 5.5.
It's a legal knife. It's legal to carry.
Right, but it's not even considered a knife. It's not considered a dangerous weapon in the state of Texas, which is why you can legally carry it. Do you agree?
I mean, you can legally carry it. I'm not going to agree that just because it's a 3.5-inch blade, it's not a dangerous weapon. I mean,
right, so it's actually outlined.
What they're doing could take out the entire group under that tent.
And I think that's your assumption.
Carmelo is, but.
No, but that's your assumption. I'm saying, according to Texas law, it's not considered a deadly weapon. That's just the fact. And so with that, I'm wondering, why is it being represented as such if it's not considered a deadly weapon under state law, but then it gets used in a situation where a person dies? How can you say it's intentional or a person wanted to kill the other person when the tool itself isn't considered a deadly weapon?
1 second.
Yeah, I want you to look into that right quick.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm not going to give you this shit I don't know.
Yeah, those knives. Cause I mean, I didn't know that in Texas, but yeah, under 5.5, they don't even classify it as a knife.
You said
they classify it as a tool. And so with that, the law says it's not a deadly weapon. Yet, someone died at the hands of it. So I do agree that someone can die at the hands of it. But if the law states it's not a deadly knife, and so
life, would you agree based on the video that's what happened?
My kids to avoid altercations if they can. I don't want them having to fight people.
This is where I come.
So you tell your kids, hey, if another kid comes up to you and tell you to leave, even though you hanging out with your friends,
I surpassed
that your kids should just
hands on them. Fair?
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah. His actions versus his words were completely different.
Now, this is my closing argument on that. Based on what we know factually happened, Carmelo did have reasonable belief that had it escalated any further, he could have been put in serious bodily harm. Is that a fair point?
I don't think from what happened, he could assume that he was going to be life-threatening or serious bodily harm.
So I got a question. Sully boy, are you going to inform your children that once any children come to them and tell them they need to leave, that they should just leave?
Man.
I teach my kids to avoid altercations if they can. I don't want them having to fight people.
From Digital Underground.
So you tell your kids, hey, if another kid comes up to you and tell you to leave, even though you're hanging out with your friends,
may he rest in peace, man,
that your kids should just leave.
If there are multiple people asking him to leave and people are getting aggressive, yes, I would encourage my kids to walk away. It's not worth it. And this is exactly why it's not worth it.
So why did
it wasn't worth it for either child?
So why did Austin not call security?
This is me talking.
If this was an issue.
He should have. I've already stated it should have been an adult handling this situation. It shouldn't have been kids doing it.
Do you believe that Austin and Hunter are the law?
What?
Do you believe that Hunter and Austin are lawful individuals, that they know the law?
I just said it should have been adults handling it.
In other words, if they are if they know the law so much, if they are not lawful, how do I say it? If they do they have badges? I didn't see any badges on them. I didn't see any badge, any gun, any tasers or handcuffs or anything. I didn't know that a 17-year-old could actually do that. Even with security, you have to be 18. Or excuse me, 21. You have to be 21. I didn't know that. So that's why I asked that question.
Kids shouldn't have been. Like, why would I then state that?
So why does he have so you believe he has the God-given right to tell Carmelo Anthony to leave the bleachers?
It was a team tent. It wasn't just the bleachers. It was a team tent.
I've been in the opposite team tents before. It's no issue.
Were you asked to leave?
No.
Okay.
And you got and
long time ago when I was in high school, when I was a freshman, we had what I forgot. It was I think it was Pride Week or Pride Day or something like that. The freshmen sat on the freshman side. The sophomore sat on the sophomore side. The junior sat on the junior side. The senior sat on the senior side. Me and a friend of mine always sat near the seniors. For whatever freaking reason, we just sat near it because we thought it was cool. And then there were times, the only time we never ever went towards the team's bleachers or the opposite team's bleachers or anything was that we were rivals. I don't care if my mom sat over there or my father sat over there. We never sat over there when it was rivalry week. Other than that, we didn't give a fuck. These are some soft people today. High stress environment that's systematically draining the life force and creating outputs and targeting original folks. That's why you have to practice impulse control. If you are in a position where you feel yourself slipping, simply just call an adult. That's all you had to do was call an adult. And none of this shit would have ever occurred. What is my biggest achievement in life? Getting married. That was my biggest achievement. Because I never thought I would have got married in my life.
It's more to it than that. You know how, if you and I both know how teenagers are, it's not just get up and leave. It's nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Words are exchanged.
Sports are involved.
Exactly. And I guess Austin and Hunter were the losers that day because number one, they were suspended by their coach, number one. Number two, didn't Carmelo Anthony win his track meet that day?
he don't know that part.
Sure.
That's not important. That's not important.
No, actually, I was gonna say,
I'm
yes, he won his track meet, he ran away. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter. What does it matter if he won his track meet?
It does matter.
Winning that track meet gives him all the authority in the world to sit wherever he wants and be wherever he wants, even if he's asked to leave.
Well, you already were informed. You already were informed that somebody invited him to go underneath that tent. Plus, it was raining that day, and he sat there for 10 minutes.
Invited him also called him the aggressor, right?
What does that?
Do you?
So what?
Do you believe? Do you believe? Do you believe that he was the aggressor?
I don't believe he was the aggressor. He was
right.
aggressive.
So why are you bringing it up? So don't bring it up if you don't believe he's the aggressor.
Because he's stating that he was invited to be under there by the same person you're claiming lying and throwing him under the bus. So how do we?
This is some crazy shit. Hunter was a known wild card who had a history of heavy weapons, including. You know what? Nah, yeah. Him and his brother, doing all types of crazy shit. Plus, they know jujitsu, whatever. Yeah, they had AR weapons, but it's like everybody does that shit. Everybody. Yeah. I don't mean to be mean, but we're just gonna continuously have retarded people, and plus I'm really trying to figure out, for the life of me, are we doing this just to troll? Are we really for real, or are we just doing this just because we can just troll, right? Because back in the day, none of this would suffice. The truth is the truth, and the truth of the matter is, this boy is clearly innocent. Now that I know the details of this situation, hell yeah, he had the right to do what he did. Controlled impulsation 101. Thank you. Now that I know the full details of this case, now I understand. Carmelo should be out. I will be fighting for him to just be out. And then you got these Sambo soldiers saying that he should have just walked away. I was like, how long? How long are we going to have to deal with this same nonsense? Did you say that to Rosa Parks? Did you absolutely say that to Rosa Parks? Did you tell her to get up and go to the back of the bus? That's crazy work.
We know he was actually invited.
Because it was a setup. Hold on. So listen, I need you to use your.
Okay, so it was a setup. Okay, it was a setup.
If the person invites you over, and then all of a sudden a group of people come and try to harass you, and that person that called you over there didn't do anything to have your back, clearly it was a setup.
So it was a setup, yet he was the only one that was armed with a weapon?
So?
What? I don't even understand that question. We understand that this is not a weapon,
you're
right?
Calling it a setup, but
my fist could have been a weapon. But then again, it wouldn't matter. Because if I knock your ass out and your head hit them bleachers very, very hard and you lose oxygen and you lose your life, would the result be any different? Will he still get 35 years? Yeah, listening. Wow. Either it's 11 o'clock in the morning over here, and y'all must have some goddamn Tourette's, some shit. Hear me and hear me good. In the state of Texas, you are allowed to have a, let's just say, quote unquote knife, as long as it reaches the measurements under 5.5 inches. The purpose tool that he had was 3.5 inches. And I'm saying, if he didn't have that knife, in Texas, anything could be considered a weapon, including these. That's what I'm saying. And if Carmelo would have, which I don't know if it would have worked, because we're talking about 100-pound difference. If he were to hit Austin and he would have fell and hit his head, would the situation be any different? Would the result be any different? That's what I'm saying. Now, are we caught up now? Austin had bought a second backup. What? I don't know, dude. In context, Carmelo had a camping multiple purpose tool. Yes, he had a capital multiples. Yeah.
Hold on, please. Okay. We understand that this is not a weapon, right? That this is just a tool that young people have at that age. Okay, so stop calling it a weapon. It's a tool.
Well, when it is banned from the event,
no, we just looked up the penal. Hold on, we just looked up the penal code, right?
There's a difference between a 3.5-inch blade and a Swiss Army knife. There's a
fine, but did you not just look up the penal code yourself?
No, I was trying to, and everybody kept going, so I'm trying to give my attention to
stopping by
to everybody else. While they're talking, I actually still have the page up.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think using your fists can be considered a deadly weapon?
Oh, it sure as hell can. It is actually classified if you're trained properly.
Okay. So if Carmelo were to use his fist, equal force, right? Use his fist, knock Austin on his keister, and his head hit the bleachers, and he passed away. Will this would be the same result or different?
Oh, it wouldn't have been first degree.
Can I ask one question? I just want to ask one question, guys. That's it.
So is it? You see, goalposts already been moved. Already. This boy's getting out. He is getting out. For me to happen to ask him a simple ass question, would the result be any different? Or would it be the same? He couldn't get to answer this question. They're like, it would have been first degree. Just let me give a little piece of advice. Let me give y'all a little piece of advice. Please, pretty please, stop fucking with people. Just stop fucking with people. That's my best advice to you. Because we're not gonna take this shit no more. I'm telling you. I am so telling you. Fuck with the right person. That's all I'm gonna say to you on that. Fuck with the right person. See what kind of results you get. See if you come home that day. There's going to be a lot of slow bringing and flour bringing if my burger alarm starts ringing. Jesus.
Sir, something, boy. Do you believe? And unfortunately, someone lost their life. I admire you, gang. You the top ignorant. No, my name ignorant, gang. I'm ignorant. You're
okay. Go for it.
No. Because
that's all you have is siding with race. Because
white folks.
Southern boy, when we bring up the penal code, are we talking about law or are we talking about race?
Law.
Okay. When we talk about stand your ground law, are we talking about race or are we talking about law?
We can skip past all the,
Okay, so don't act as if we was talking about race this whole time when we literally was talking about the law.
That wasn't about you.
Hold on.
That wasn't about you or the rest of them. That was at Ignite.
Hold on. And all we want is to be treated fairly under law.
Which is not.
That is it.
Which ain't gonna happen.
Stop arguing that we should not be treated fair under law when we give you penal codes and law statutes from Texas, which he is in.
Which is the number one racist state in America.
Regardless of that. So that's what we need people to do. We don't care about what, we just need it to be fair. That's it. And there's no way after we just broke down all these things and we bringing you facts that's in the case that you can still justify 35 years and he's the only person that ever got 35 years for an incident like this.
Okay, and yet you make that seem okay. So you want him to have less because the others have gotten less for ending other people's lives?
Yes.
Bullshit.
That's the law.
I don't know why y'all jumping in. Wouldn't that be considered fair?
No.
Why wouldn't that be considered fair if other people beforehand got the same sentencing?
It's not fair to the victims.
We're not talking about the victims. We're talking about law. Because we're talking about the law.
Don't get justice? That's not part of law?
Southern boy, no, that is a part of your moral standing point. That's cool. That's your moral opinion. We're not talking about your moral opinion. We're talking about what happened in the past in America. So what happened in the past in America, we want that same justice. So now, with that being said, now you understand the premise of law, not your personal opinion. I don't want to hear your personal opinion. I want to hear your lawful opinion. In the lawful opinion, did he get treated unfairly compared to what he got sentenced compared to other scenarios with the same sentencing? Is that unfair by law?
What scenarios?
Oh, Lord.
M1.
Grayson Allen, didn't he get 10 years?
I don't need help. Of M1, the same type of case. We gave you different cases already.
In the studio chat, you linked one. So I can see what you're referencing.
Kaysen Allen is another one that recently just happened. Then we have another one that happened in San Antonio when they went outside in the back of a building and they had a fight. He stabbed the kid. He only got 10 years. The other one got 7 years or something of that nature. Regardless, it wasn't even close to 30 years. Nonetheless, 35. So with that being said, this is the most anybody got so far today. How can you call that fair when people prior to the situation got less time? How is that fair?
So, wait, so you're telling me that he's gotten the most time for M1 than anyone else today?
Yes.
If you have proof of that, then I'll agree with you all day.
I told you he wasn't going to agree with this. I told you. I told you.
I just stated
I
you
fucking told
told
you.
See what I mean? But I'm the stupid one. I clearly. But if it was the other way around, obviously it wouldn't be a problem. What up there, boy? What up there, Montrese? We gotta get you back up here, but I'm having complications. I'm sending links and the shit ain't working. So I gotta fiddle around with it for a little while. But I ask questions. Sharon asks questions. Shadow's asking questions, but and Bomb Cherry, shout out to Bomb Cherry, asking questions like, damn. But what was he doing? They all say the same thing. What are you doing with the knife? It wouldn't happen if he would have had the knife. What's he doing with the knife? So I'm gonna ask this white boy, what are you doing with the gun? Why do you have a gun? What is the purpose of you having a gun, sir? Why are we having a gun? They can't keep moving that. I wish somebody would take me to Burger King and get me something to eat after I done roasted like 12 white boys. I wish I would have went to jail. I would put me underneath the jail. But take me to Burger King. Take me to Burger King so I get me a sandwich. They'll take my black ass straight to jail. But sir, people like certain white people don't want to hear that shit. And neither do these coons. None of these Sambos want to. These guys, Sambo around here is like, man, if I was a congressman, if I was a congressman, I would have gave him life in prison. I'm like, you really do hate yourself. You really do. Jesse Lee Peterson looking like motherfucker.
He's the first person. If he's the first person,
I don't even know why he's even convincing this bullshit. I don't even know why.
Even if that's true, what does that mean that he went there with the intent to do what happened?
Okay.
So after that, I left. I left. I was like, why are you even playing with this, Sharon? Why are you even playing these stupid games? Because once white folks get that guilty, you know they are punishing you. They are punishing us for the OJ trial. And many others. They are punishing us for the OJ trial. That is fucking crazy. They point out everything is fine. And now they are emboldened. These people are emboldened to do bodily harm to black people. The green light, the green light is lit. The green light is lit. Everywhere that I go, every video that I review, it's always a black kid or a black man or a black woman being harmed. It's always something. And people act like it's just a farce and none of this exists. Like this stupid ass in the chat. Supporting a murderer. He is not a murderer. Maybe if you would not put your hands on people, you would be still. As a matter of fact, it was testified. One of the testimony that when he went to the hospital, he was still alive. But because he lost so much blood, And because he lost so much oxygen, or they gave him oxygen, he just lost too much blood. He was still alive, going to the hospital. My question is, where was his father? The mom went up there. The mom went up there before the father did. That's quite interesting. And if the father even gave a shit, he would have still went up to the hospital anyway. That's his son. That is mainly his son. But needless to say, I'm glad he did it. If there was any other type of way to do it, but it wasn't any type of way because Carmelo Anthony was getting his ass whooped. So he did what he did. Boom.
Everybody believe that is true, unless you are now making that claim.
I'm not making that claim.
What's that taste out of your mouth? I'd like to see it.
Link 5518 said, bye! Yeah, nice
great conversation. But he
we know that ain't what the conversation about. It's not even close to what the conversation.
So people can believe whatever they want to believe. I don't know. I don't really care. I don't give a shit. The boy is innocent and innocent in a fair trial. Every goalpost is being moved because of this administration, because of Donald Trump and his influence amongst people who don't care anymore. He has influenced everybody to go and express yourself. Fuck everybody. Just go and do it. If he can do it, y'all can do it. That's his influence on white America. And you know it's true. White America is just it. I'm just going to say it. White America is where it's at right now. All because of Trump. If he can have some stupid ass white boy that won his match saying that Michelle Obama's a man and he laugh at that, boy, then them Obamas must have really done something to him. Obama must have really done something to Donald Trump. Oh yeah, he humiliated him, I think back in 2007. Humiliated him at some formal dinner or something. I don't know, I forgot. I totally forgot. But the only thing is, where is his birth certificate? Where's his birth certificate? He's not American. He's from he's an African or whatever he said. That's crazy work. I gotta fix this thing, so I'm going to get this stream and do some work on this. Because this thing is not where it's at right now. But I'm just gonna leave with this conclusion. He's gonna get it. Hopefully he gets a fair trial this time, but we're not reliving the case. We're just gonna be looking over some things and strike what's missed. And a lot of things are missing. So I hope his next lawyer, his next attorney gets his ducks in a row and gets Carmelo, if they can, to testify under oath on that stand. He needed to do it, but somehow old Mike didn't want him to testify because it might ruin his chances or whatever. I mean, If he didn't, if he didn't want to, it wasn't going to make a difference anyway, because the judge already made his decision. Boom. He gets 35 years, which is very, very excessive. Very excessive, in my opinion. Very excessive. If Kyle Rittenhouse got 10 years for stabbing a boy multiple times, make everything equal. Give Carmelo Anthony 10 years, if that's the case. That's basically manslaughter right there, because that's your first offense. But, hell, you got it. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down. That lets you know that I'm still in the algorithm. And support the channel. And I will be back with you with another video soon.